obviously, the thrill of Saturday was there and appreciate it. Again, like I said, I did have the opportunity to thank so many of our wonderful fans that were in attendance. That was absolutely awesome. And proud of the way our guys played, right? I'd use the term perseverance when talking to you guys Saturday evening, and still believe that way. But a lot of things that we need to work on and correct in order to move forward. Full understanding that our focus is 100% focused on a great UTSA team. They're 3-0. They're 10th in the country in defense. And they're averaging almost 40 points a game on offense. They had a preseason All-American running back, a preseason All-American punter. They played really hard. They went on the road and beat a Big Ten team. They're playing at a really, really high level. And so we understand the type of game this is. You got two undefeated teams facing off, and we've got to find a way to get better this week because they're going to give us everything we want and more.
Frank and then Evan.
Ryan, after getting a chance to look at the film from the Mississippi State game, what are your initial thoughts after, kind of being able to dissect it?
Yeah, some things to clean up. Like I said, I was pleased with the defense's effort. The air raid, they're not as much throw the ball down the field vertically as they are, kind of dink and dunk and find ways to have ball control that way. But I thought our guys, they tackled as well as I've seen them, in space. And that's one of those things we knew we had to do. We knew they were going to throw a lot of passes to the backs and some intermediate concepts. We also have to continue to make plays on the ball. Same thing I said versus Arkansas State. We were in position sometimes, but we've got to do a better job making plays on the ball. Special teams, I was pleased, obviously, with our hands team. I think that's something, anytime a team has the opportunity to have multiple onside kick opportunities to be able to come away with the ball, I was pleased with that. Things we continue to correct with that. And then offensively, right, we knew the challenges facing a great Mississippi State defense. We had to find ways to continue to be creative to do it. The biggest thing I was disappointed with after watching it was, we just didn't sustain any drives, right? Too many 3 and outs. And that's disappointing. That's, our offense didn't play up to our standards. Look, no excuses. Seth's got to continue to play better. There's a lot of things he could learn from that. Us got to just all around offensively things to clean up. But look, when I was all said and done, I was pleased with the effort of the young men.
And I want to ask, this was the first time Seth threw an interception. How did you see him handle that after throwing the first interception of his career?
Yeah, I talked to the team about it yesterday, Frank. So you think about the series of events, okay? We go, Seth throws his first interception and then goes and makes that tackle. If he doesn't make that tackle, we may be having a different conversation here today, right? He goes and makes that tackle to prevent them from running a pick six back. And our defense holds them, right, all the way to a 4th down stop on the 2-yard line. And then we turn around back and then put together a 13-play, 98-yard drive. So I think Seth handled just fine. I mean, that's the type of young man he is, right? Kudos to our defense. I mean, that to be able to stop them and come away in the tight zone and then stop them on the 2-yard line on 4th down. And then for our offense to go out and put together a 98-yard, 13-play drive. I think it shows that Seth was able to, okay, it's part of football. How do I respond?
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Evan and then Clayton.
Hi, Ryan. Sorry. Kind of going off of that. What exactly does that 98-yard drive say about Seth's ability, not just to compartmentalize what happened before, but just be able to stay poised and then keep the team going on what ended up being a pretty important drive for you guys?
Yeah, I think, Evan, you just used the word poise. I think that's exactly right. I mean, here's a young man, an 18-year-old that just threw his first pick and probably the biggest game of his career, definitely versus the best defense he's seen in his life. And goes back out and then able to stay to drive. And I think the thing that's hard, and we're seeing this all throughout college football, guys, and football in general, it's hard to sustain, right, drives over 8 plays because reality of it is something's got to give. And, whether we've been fortunate, obviously we won explosive plays on offense. But to be able to sit there and sustain a long drive like that at 98 yards and put together plays of, run and pass, that speaks volumes of his execution, his understanding, and his demeanor to say, okay, take a deep breath. That previous drive didn't go the way I wanted to, but let's go out there and execute. And to be able to do that play and play out, it just continues to speak volumes about him.
And then you mentioned UTSA's defense being 10th nationally. I believe also they're tied with you guys as far as being 19th in run defense. What do you see about that, given how Brandon Thomas had to kind of fight for those tough yards against a tough Mississippi State team?
Yeah, look, UTSA is going to be as well-rounded as a team as we'll face this year. They're great on offense, they're great on defense, and they're great on special teams. They're well coached. I'm not just, this is not coach speak. They're going to give us everything we want. So we understand how tough they are in the run defense. They've got guys, the transfers from all over. They got, look, I think they have on their entire defense, I think they only have one sophomore playing. The rest are a lot of returning seniors. Same with their offense. I think they return all 22 starters for the most part. If I recall, are 21 of 22 starters. And like I said, most of those are seniors with some juniors and only one sophomore playing for them. So they play really sound. They know where they're supposed to be, and they get there in a tough demeanor. And we're gonna have to bring it. And Brandon's done a nice job being able to break some runs and play off of contact. Rodriguez Clark's been able to show the same. But we're gonna need to continue to do that this week as well.
Were you encouraged by Brandon being able to kind of, because he had a few big plays, but were you encouraged by him just being able to get those tough physical yards, even though obviously he didn't have as much game breaking opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's part of it. We looked at the Arkansas State game. We said, Ryan, one of the reasons why they were able to get so many explosives. Well, Arkansas State was coming in and filling the hole. So if Brandon was able to make one of those guys miss or break the tackle on a safety that was down there 8 yards, it turned into a significant explosive run. Whereas Mississippi State was able to have a safety back that was coming up and hitting, making those tough plays for 4 yards, 3 yards. But I believe our backfields really pride themselves on running the ball hard. And that's one of those things, right? We want those tough runners. Look, I love Darrell Henderson. I loved his explosiveness and speed, but and look, Brandon and all of our running backs have speed, but I think they're built a little bit different, and they like trying to plow that rock, and they don't mind running through those A gaps.
Thank you.
Clayton and then Terry.
Hey, Ryan, I know you're on the UTSA right now, but now that you've had a little time to look back and kind of take in the impact there, what do you think the impact of this win was for the Tigers? Another home win against the P5 team.
Yeah, Clayton, like I said, pregame, I try not to treat any game any different, and that's the reality. But I understood the ramifications of what this meant for our city. I truly do, right? That win was for the fans, that was for our great community, for the people that take a lot of pride in saying, hey, we went out and beat an SEC school. It helps in recruiting. Sure. All those things. We had a great stadium full of people. Now, hopefully that encourages them to continue to show back up and show up for the UTSA game. But I think, what it did was it put more of a national spotlight on things, right? Because guess what? Every game in our conference is going to be tough, and every one's going to be just as important as the next. So, but when you look back at it, I think it's something that, after the season, we can say, okay, take a deep breath. Wow, that was good. That was good for our program. But, in the midst of the season, you truly, you wake up just like you do every Sunday morning and say, okay, I got to hurry up and get ready for UTSA. But look, I think we all understand how great that was, especially for our city.
And just in terms of keeping the home winning streak alive for you guys, what is it about the Liberty Bowl that has given you so much success, especially against, some solid teams over the past few years in non-conference?
Yeah, Clayton, that same question was asked, post game. And I just think look, man, we got awesome fans and they love it. And I think part of it is our belief, and not to steal the Grizzlies deal, but we believe in Memphis versus everybody. And I think having that chip on our shoulder, and when we're at home, we kind of feel like we've got that shield on our back, and we're willing to take on anybody. And I think that's the mindset, and that never back down attitude, right? The score hadn't always been the way we wanted, especially in my 2 years at the helm, right? But what the guys have shown is grit and fight, and being able to do that at home, that's what I'm most proud of, because I think they sit there and they say, okay, we got this. And sometimes when you're in a foreign environment, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. And like I said, we love playing Liberty Bowl. If we could talk to some of our away opponents and just continue to play games there, that'd be great.
How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you, Terry?
I don't know who you made a deal with to keep your rain away before the game ended. I'm glad you did. And two is, did you lose anybody in the game, and can we expect anybody back who hadn't played or maybe coming back for this weekend?
Yeah, we didn't lose anybody right now. Obviously, like a lot of things, week to week, and as the season goes on, there's some guys that we've got to keep a watch file on during practice. we're going to continue to monitor, right? David Kemp, our kicker. Obviously Joe Dole's done a nice job banging that field goal. Man, that was big time. And then, we'll see where Morris Joseph is this week. You guys know we're off today, and tomorrow will be a good tell to see, how his health is and see if he's ready to go.
Mark?
Hey, Ryan, sorry, for some reason my video is not working today. Wanted to ask you a little bit about the defense. Obviously, the plan was to, play a lot of zone, and you were rushing 3 a lot. The way you guys closed that game with, you had 5 stops in a row there, starting with that goal line stand. Did you hit upon anything you think that will transfer over the rest of the season, or was this kind of more of a plan that was more tailored to what Mississippi State does?
That's a good question, Mark. I think it's a combination of both, right? There were times, we'd rush 3, and then times we'd rush 5 and played some more zone stuff based off of that type of offense, and then we know that UTSA is going to be a different type of offense and vice. So I think every week we got to come up with a decisive plan. But I think one of the things that, if you go back and watch the game that not many people noted, if you looked at, with that 3 down front, we're so traditionally used to playing guys in what I call a 4-eye technique, inside shade of the tackles. And instead we put some of those guys in 5 techniques, and you saw guys like Jalil Clements, who you hadn't seen really much of the season, right? With his hand in the ground, rushing off that edge, guys like Jalen Allen, even Cole Mashburn. And very rarely, you think of those guys as our stand-up outside backs, but we were able to put their hand in the ground and try to get some speed and try to get a little bit of pressure from that 3-man rush. So Mark, I think it's going to be, game plan based out. Now UTSA runs some more 12 personnel stuff, and their tight ends are 270-pound guys. So, I don't know if it's who of us to get, some of our lighter bodies out there cranked, but obviously we're not going to give away our game plan. But I think week in and week out, we got to be decisive of what we want to do. And obviously Coach McIntyre and his staff do a fantastic job with that.
The way they bounce back both from the Arkansas State game and also just even within that game on Saturday, just in terms of, I guess, your maybe not confidence level, but just what, I guess, did that defense prove to you in that game on Saturday? Because they did come in with, expectations given all the veterans back there.
Yeah, no question. I think they weren't pleased with their play, prior. And I always say this, we're always hard on ourselves as anybody else. And they knew that they had to step up and continue to improve. So, after the game, going back and watching the film, I just think they were, like I said at the beginning to Frank, I think, watching them be able to make clean tackles was good. They know there's a lot of work to be done. We still got to continue to make better plays on the ball, but I do think it helps their confidence, right? Moving forward, I think our defense played pretty darn well. And I think that what that does is that confidence, not cockiness, just breeds them, play a little bit more faster and have a better understanding of what we're continuing to try to accomplish, whatever the game plan calls for.
Thanks.
Evan?
Ryan, just to be clear, you mentioned David Kemp, kind of like, we've seen him work out. Is he coming along pretty well? Because you hinted at him, but we just don't know exactly like how he's holding up at this point.
Great, good question. Kickers, I wish I was a better medical expert on kickers, right? They're sometimes their injuries are a little bit different, and he is coming along nicely, but I assume we'll see him out here before too long.
And as far as Mojo, just because we did see him dress, so is it just a matter of day to day, as you said?
Yeah, exactly right, Evan. It's one of those. I don't ever want to put a guy out there that doesn't feel 100% comfortable because we know we have a long season and we want him fresh and healthy, and never want to put a guy out there where he'd be at risk to further injure himself.
And same with Kylan Watkins, I assume, day to day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then my actual question after that was, I think we saw Jeremy Tate kind of working with the tight ends pregame. Is that a new position change for him to kind of, use him in a different role?
Yeah, I think part of it, so we had a true freshman named Arrington McCray that tore his ACL in the preseason. And so then all of a sudden we looked at our numbers at the tight end room, and, we like to do some 12 personnel stuff. Jeremy Tate's, a 242-pound wide receiver body. So that natural position, right? He's our second heaviest guy in the tight end room right now. He's got to continue to be able to learn both, and he's able to. But we may see him a little bit more there if he needs to be.
So you're saying it's more of just kind of like maybe emerging. Obviously, Dykes and Priest Corner out there, but is it more just kind of like just adding more depth to that room at this point?
Yeah, and then you guys, I'm not sure if you also saw John Hassel was also out. I'm sure you guys saw that he wasn't able to dress for the game with an injury. So,
What's the status on his injury? Just curious if there's one.
week to week, he's meeting with the doctor again, I think today.